He will also be attending the Raisina Dialogue 2023. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is scheduled to arrive later today as well. Meanwhile, Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held bilateral talks with his Brazilian and Turkish counterparts. The Turkish Foreign Minister further thanked India for Operation Dost, and the Quad countries will also be meeting on the sidelines of the G20 Foreign Ministers meet. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg on Tuesday reiterated on how Ukraine would one day become a member of the alliance, but emphasized on how it was a long-term perspective. NATO has said that it has an open-door policy to Ukraine, but has not clarified on whether it will accelerate moves towards Kiev's possible accession. Finland's Prime Minister has further said that NATO allies have in fact agreed that Ukraine will become a member of the alliance in the future. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has arrived in Beijing for a state visit. Lukashenko has been invited to visit China by the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. This visit comes after US State Department on Monday called Lukashenko's visit an example of how Beijing is deepening engagements with Russia over the conflict in Ukraine. Lukashenko is expected to meet with various Chinese officials during his visit that is set to last till the 2nd of March. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol has said that the trilateral cooperation with the United States and Japan is now more important than ever to overcome North Korea's growing nuclear threats and other crises. Yoon's comments came after South Korea's president said that officials from the three nations have held their first economic security dialogue amid efforts to strengthen supply chain resilience and develop technology. Nigeria's ruling party candidate Bola Tinubu has been declared president-elect of Africa's most populous nation after a weekend election that the main opposition parties have disputed. According to the country's electoral commission, Tinubu garnered 8.79 million votes ahead of the main opposition challenger Atiku Abubakar's 6.98 million votes. Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State, will now take over leadership of the country, grappling with insurgencies, armed attacks as well as kidnapping, along with issues like corruption and power shortage. At least 29 people have been killed, several others injured after two trains collided in Greece. The incident happened late on Tuesday when a passenger train and a freight train collided in central Greece. About 250 passengers have been evacuated safely. Officials say that the circumstances of the crash remain unclear. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan has been granted protective bail by two courts in Islamabad that provide him respite till the 9th of March. Imran Khan faces charges that range from gathering illegal funds for his political party to inciting violence against state officials. Khan has had a number of cases registered against him since a parliamentary vote ousted him from power last year. US President Joe Biden has said that his March budget proposal to the US Congress will include some higher taxes, including on billionaires. The proposal, however, will not violate his pledge not to raise rates on Americans making less than $400,000 a year. Biden is currently under pressure from Republicans who are warning not to raise the US debt limit unless he agrees to sharp spending cuts. Biden has vowed to cut the deficit by $2 trillion over 10 years in the upcoming budget proposal. U.S. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell has called on the Congress to increase defense spending in the coming year to confront growing threats from Russia and China. He said that other NATO countries also need to increase their emphasis on defense as well. His remarks, however, could put him at odds with Republicans in the House of Representatives who are considering proposals to keep defense spending at current levels in fiscal year 2024 while cutting about $150 billion, mainly from non-defense discretionary spending. Iranian state media has released footage showing missiles being fired during a military defense drill. A top Revolutionary Guards commander said that Iran has developed a cruise missile with a range of 1,650 kilometers. This move is likely to raise Western concerns after Russia's use of Iranian drones in the Ukraine war. Iran has expanded its missile program, particularly its ballistic missiles, in defiance of opposition from the United States and other Western nations. Tehran says that the program is purely defensive and of a deterrent nature. Two Iranian warships docked in Rio de Janeiro on Sunday after Brazilian President Lula da Silva's government granted permission despite pressure from the United States to bar them. It was earlier reported that Brazil had bowed to US pressure, and it also declined Iran's request for the vessels to dock in Rio. The Brazilian Navy, it authorizes a foreign vessel to dock in Brazil only after authorization from the Foreign Ministry. As the Israeli government pushes ahead with the controversial judicial reforms, a group of 1973 war veterans, they've decided to stage their protest in a rather unique manner. Last week, just days before the first parliament vote on reforms, the veterans took an old Israeli tank from the occupied Golan Heights, covered it with a huge replica of Israel's Declaration of Independence, and drove it through demonstrations in northern Israel. They say that they chose this Israeli tank, which fought the 1973 war, as a symbol of power to unify a divided society. A massive fire consumed a plastic factory in Mexico on Tuesday, causing large plume of smoke. The fire prompted response from the fire department. The origin of the fire remains unknown. According to local media reports, the fires consumed tons of plastic. Workers from other nearby factories were evacuated for safety. Colombia's Viva has announced that it has temporarily halted its operations. The indebted low-cost carrier is awaiting a ruling by Colombia's Civil Aviation Authority on its proposed merger. Due to this, several passengers left stranded in airports across Colombia on Tuesday. Many also began protests and blockades inside the airport terminals. The Colombian transport minister has said that other airlines are working to get them to their destinations. Rescue teams in Bolivia have found a man who had been lost in the jungle for nearly a month. 30-year-old Acosta, a coca farmer, got lost in the jungle on the 25th of January, where he was hunting with his friends. After being rescued, he was transferred to a hospital for treatment. Reportedly, Acosta lost about 17 kilograms. The man told local media that he ate insects and worms to survive. Amid a prolonged economic slump and historic drought, farmers in Argentina staged a protest in Santa Fe province to demand lower taxes and a better exchange rate for their exports. Farmers, they're asking the government for less burdensome interventionist trade policies and the elimination of export taxes. Argentina's capital controls have created a disincentive for farmers to export, since revenues in dollars, they have to be converted back to the local peso currency at a lower official rate. China's Realme unveiled its GT3 smartphone that can be fully charged in just over 9 minutes. The company claims this is the world's fastest charging smartphone, with even a mere 30-second charge giving enough power for a 2-hour 5G phone call. The GT3 also claims an ultra-durable battery that retains 80% capacity even after 16,000 charge cycles. New York City woke up to its heaviest snowfall of the season. Swathes of northeast USA were blanketed in white snow, with parts of Massachusetts and New York hit hard by extreme weather. According to the National Weather Service, Central Park's total snow accumulation was 1.8 inches. Officials estimate that parts of northeast could see 8 inches of snowfall. The fierce weather is expected to last through the week. A 50-foot mudslide at a home in Beverly Hills led to road closures and the evacuation of an elderly male resident and his caretaker. One of the several terraced retaining walls on a 1/3 acre property gave way, causing mud to cascade downhill. No injuries were reported. There's been heavy rainfall in the area recently, but officials have not determined the cause for the mudslide yet. Spain's National Weather Agency has issued weather alerts throughout Spain as Storm Juliet swept across the country, bringing with it freezing temperature, snow and rain. Villages and swathes of land in the Basque Country were covered by snow and the temperature was set to drop below -6 degrees Celsius. The weather agency has also predicted the coldest temperature would be in Guadalajara at -15 degrees. Spanish biotechnology company is giving organic waste a lease of life by using bacteria to produce bioplastic. According to the CEO, these bacteria, they have the ability to eat organic waste and at the same time produce these biodegradable plastics. For the bacteria, this biodegradable plastic, it's like an energy reserve. So optimizing and selecting the best bacteria that are able to eat the organic waste and produce this biodegradable plastic, the company uses beer, eggshells, sea oysters or potato pulp to achieve the desired strength, stiffness and flexibility. The Ocean Race fleet has started leg 3 of their 12,750 nautical mile journey from Cape Town to Brazil. The Cape of Good Hope will be the longest ever leg in the 50-year history of the Ocean Race. From South Africa, the fleet will pass Australia's Cape Leeuwin and South Africa's Cape Horn before turning northward to Brazil. Pardon me.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.